My name's Phill Cann, 4-door Phill on Instagram, or I'm also Revival and Finger Tights unofficial truck guy. My truck's a 1968 Chevrolet C10. It's a 50th anniversary, so obviously the 50th year that Chevrolet started making what was then their full-size pickup truck. So the gold and white is just to really commemorate that. It originally came with like an ivory bench and stuff like that, but other than that, it's just a C10. Where'd I get the truck? I got it on eBay. We had actually just moved into a new apartment and I kind of knew that I wanted one. And just flicking around on the site, and I came across this thing and I didn't even know if I really wanted it. I truthfully didn't like the gold when I first saw it, but it was the cheapest C10 that I could afford within my range. And so I bought this thing sight unseen. It rolled up to my work, just an absolute piece of junk. Like the brakes didn't work, the wiring was junk, but there it was, my new C10, fresh from Mississippi, right out of eBay. I always knew that I wanted to bag it. I had seen guys in Arizona and Texas and California doing exactly what I wanted to do with the truck. So I didn't know how I was going to get it done, but I knew that I wanted this thing to be laid out, fast, loud, LS swap, just drag and frame everywhere. So from the get-go, I knew this is what I wanted it to be. I didn't know that it would actually come to fruition and actually be that. My favorite part of the truck. It's funny, depending on which stage of the build, I think that's got a different answer. Lately it's the interior. I love the interior because it's fresh, the glass is good, the seals are good, it's got a radio, it's starting to get more comfortable. But if you'd have asked me, I don't know, 2 years ago when I was just starting to really get into it, it would have been the frame. Or, you know, a little bit after that, it would have been the engine bay because I had just done that. So I think that answer is ever changing. I think that's a good thing though. It keeps it fresh, it keeps it fun. This truck taught me so much about mechanical skills, myself, how to work with your hands, just so much in general. I learned to cut, grind, weld, paint, fabricate, assemble, disassemble, how things work, how fluid-based systems work, how wiring works, how relays work, how everything works. So this truck was, I think, one of the best things I could have done mechanically wise. Because there's constant failures and that's where you're going to learn. So I went out and bought a cheap, 250 piece Craftsman set from Sears or whatever. It was like $100, and I didn't even have a toolbox. I just had like this little thing that's, yay big, and it had like sockets, metric, and SAE, and I dove into the thing. I've had my friends are just incredible. Every step along the way, they've helped me out and made sure that, I was learning the things I need to, and things were going array, or not array, but, to plan and keeping me in track, and with the help of everyone, because not one person I know is great at, it's an individual thing, but collectively, like, we built this truck together. And I'd never say I built it myself, but, my friends, everybody, with whether it be help with paint or help with wiring or help with the frame, or even just being there and just shooting ideas off each other. Like that, some of the most productive nights I ever had on the truck were just, you just go there and just clean up the tools and organize the shop and just think about what's your next step. Like how do you want those brake lines to come down the frame and tuck back and come back up, and just thinking about it mentally. So there's always something like that to do, and that's certainly like one of the funnest things about this truck. The motor, it's an iron block LS based motor. There's a lot of nuances when someone tells you that they have an LS. They very well may not. I technically don't have one, but all the geometry is all the same. All the parts are interchangeable, but a true LS motor comes out of a car. This one actually came out of a truck. It's basically like a 2500 Silverado, like 02, 03, or like an express van, somewhere around that. So it's a 6-liter. It's all iron, except for the heads are aluminum, obviously. But it's gotten a bunch of cosmetic stuff to it. So it's got an LS6 intake. The front drive accessories are all LS6 and stuff like that, like the water pump and power steering pump. But for all intents and purposes, it's a 6-liter truck motor. The transmission is a 4L80E, so it's a 4-speed automatic shift transmission. And it's a 12-bolt rear end with 373 posi gears. Once you drag a truck frame down the road, you're never going to be a car guy, I promise you. There's just something about seeing a truck just smashed and laid out on the ground that's just... Car kids, some of them don't understand it, and that's fine. I think variety is the spice of life, but when you understand what needs to go into a truck to lay it all the way out and you see one, it's like, oh my God. It's just, not for nothing, I'm not putting anything down, but you can go out and buy a suspension kit for almost every car now, and in 3 hours you can have that thing laying on the ground, and they look great, they really do. But with a truck, there's just so much more to it, and you appreciate that and understand that. And so once you get there and see them, it's just like, that's it. I'll never go back to another car. What's next for the truck? I don't know. I've said for a while that it needs a little more power. That motor's got 300 horsepower or something like that, but it also weighs like 3,800 pounds. So I think I'm going to do like cams and new heads and springs and push rods and everything, and try to get a tune on or something like that. But it's not a bummer, but it's close to being done. I'll never paint it. Once you paint a truck, it's the kiss of death to me, because like then you can't go to a car show and you have to worry about people going next to the truck and who's going to scratch it or where is it parked, or it's got to be shiny. And so that, to me, it's not the one. Some trucks look great painted, but this one, that'll never get painted. So I think some sort of like drivetrain upgrades is going to be next. That's a long list. I have a lot of people to thank, and I know I'm going to forget someone, but pretty much, if you know who you are, obviously Revival, you guys have been awesome to me to give me the opportunity to come on the podcast and take the videos of the truck and some of my favorite photos I've ever had. And every one of my friends that's come over, from Ian, Donnie, Corey, Tubby, Mater, there's inevitably someone I'm going to leave off this list. So if you've ever been to my shop or garage, wherever it was at the time where I was building it, and you helped me out, or even just let me bounce ideas and we talked about trucks, thank you. You guys are awesome. Like I said, I never in a million years would have been able to build this without my friends. So learned a lot along the way, but this is a team effort, that's for sure. Instant gratification. There's a certain allure to just having something take you 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or even 6 months, and finally standing back and just being able to appreciate it. It's some things right now are just like too instant, too grabby, too clickbaity, too, I don't know, not enough passion to it, I guess. So take your time. Understand that it's a project, your car, your truck, your whatever, your motorcycle, your scooter isn't going to be done overnight. So just take your time, be patient. We'll get there.